Today, I will be talking about being tempted to imitate someone else's journey instead of walking boldly in your own journey. I've been going through this devotional, the David devotional, the one that is airing on the Chosen, and a little backstory. I have been a people pleaser kind of a person, I've always been like the goody two shoes kind of a person. So it was always like the original thing, like it was always the go-to thing for me to want to walk in other people's journey, like to imitate what other people are saying, what other people are doing, because I felt like because people love what they are doing, they will eventually love what I am doing, replicating their own work. And it was never the case, even when I where I tried to open TikTok and did some different things, like tried skits, tried lip singing, tried dancing, just I really wanted to figure who I was, but in that same light I also wanted to be who other people were, because people tend to like those people. So I thought that eventually they were going to like me. But ever since I started walking with Christ, and it called for me to be my own person, because God made me, you know. There might be other versions of me, but there's just one me. And He has called me to be a different kind of person, even if that person that He wants me to be might be uncomfortable for me. And maybe it is something that is way out of my box, making me to want to prove myself or show myself or put myself out there more, and put me in uncomfortable situations. I just have to be that person, because that is who God is. God is an original God. God is a different kind of God. Like there is no God actually, but there's no God like this God. Like, people have tried to replicate God, people have tried to be kind, people have tried to be patient, tried to show love, but this God is different. Like, He has all these qualities and even more. Where people have stopped, that's where he has continued and did even more. And that is where He is calling us to be. Like, He wants us to be different from the others, so just like David's story, where King Saul gave David his armor, David knew who he was. David knew who God was. And David knew that if he put his strength in God, if he put his trust in God, he was eventually going to come out victorious. Like, yes, he might not have the skills that Jonathan had. He might not have the armor or the accolades that Saul had, but he had God. He had trust in God. He had confidence that with God everything is possible. God had helped him in defeating the lions and the bear and every other thing that he had fought before, and he was like, God can still help me to defeat the same thing. David was not walking in another person's journey so that he could prove himself. He walked in his own journey and he proved himself. And how did he prove himself? It was through God's help that he was ready to prove himself. And as Christians today, I'm just bringing it back to my own life. There are things that God has called us to come to do, and it might not be like the normal things that people do, and it might still be like the normal things that people do, but with God, things are different. With God, there's always a result, positive or not positive to you, but there's always a result. And it's different with God, it's different. And discouragement might come. Like, discouragement will come, discouragement will come so much, and you will want to give up. So many times you will want to give up, but don't give up. Don't give up because you have a God, Don't give up because trust God. The Bible says that those that trust in God, they are like Mount Zion that cannot be shaken. Just imagine yourself putting your trust in God. Imagine putting your business in God's hand. Your business is like Mount Zion that cannot be shaken. Mount Zion is a mountain. It stands. It stands. This represents righteousness. It represents assurance. It represents bravery. It represents the fact that no matter the storms, your business is going to stand. Your journey is going to stand. Whatever it is that God is calling you to is going to stand, because you are like Mount Zion. Mount Zion is a righteous place. Mount Zion is a holy city. Mount Zion is the place that God really loved. It is the city of David. God has put so much treasure in Mount Zion. And you are that Mount Zion. Your journey is that Mount Zion. The thing that God has called you into is that Mount Zion. I'm just going to read the word that God gave me yesterday. And the word says that commit your ways to the Lord. Trust in Him and He will do this, that He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. This is my word, and this can also be your word. This is the word I am holding on to. This word. I can't give up. This is my word.